Finn Calloway's fingers traced the worn edge of his transport ship's control panel. The gentle hum of the engine vibrated through his calloused hands as he guided the vessel through the asteroid belt of the Cygnus system. 6 years since he'd left the Earth Alliance medical corps, and still the silence of space felt foreign to him. No wounded soldiers crying out, no commanders barking orders. It's just him and the steady beep of the navigation system. Proximity alert at Cargo Bay 3, the ship's computer announced, its voice flat and mechanical. Finn frowned. It was 3 days out from his last pickup, a routine medical supply run to the outer colonies. Nothing should be moving in his cargo hold. Display Bay 3 surveillance, he commanded, reaching for the stunner he kept holstered under the console. Old habits from his military days died hard. The screen flickered to life, casting blue light across his weathered face. Saw nothing among the neatly stacked crates of synthetic blood and tissue regenerators. Then a shadow moved, darting between containers. Computer, enhanced Sector 4. The image zoomed and clarified. Finn's breath caught in his throat. Not raiders or stowaways looking for a free ride to the next port. Children, 2 small figures. Huddled behind a crate of medical supplies, their skin a pale, luminous blue that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. Vesperi, he recognized. The species from his time patching up refugees during the border conflicts. Finn engaged the autopilot and made his way through the narrow corridors of his ship. The Mender's Touch. The name had seemed appropriate when he'd purchased the decommissioned medical frigata, reminder of his vow to heal rather than harm. After witnessing too much of the latter, the cargo bay door slid open with a hydraulic hiss. Finn held the stunner loosely at his side, more from habit than any perceived threat from children. "I know you're in here," he called, his voice gentle despite its natural gruffness. "I'm not going to hurt you." A small face peered around a crate, eyes large and entirely black, like pools of ink that reflected the stars. Be more than the equivalent of 7 Earth years. Behind this one, another smaller figure trembled, clutching what appeared to be a tattered blanket woven with bioluminescent threads. "My name is Finn," he continued, crouching down to appear less intimidating. His knees protested the movement, a reminder of shrapnel wounds from long ago. "This is my ship. How did you get on board?" The older child spoke, voice melodic but strained. "Port of Helios. Hiding. Bad ones came for us." The universal translator in Finn's comm badge struggled with the Vesperi dialect, but the fear in the child's voice needed no translation. "You're hurt," Finn observed, noticing dark violet stains, Vesperi blood in the smaller child's arm. His medic instincts took over. "May I see?" The older child hesitated, then nodded once. "I am Talith. She is Perry. Our ship ... gone." Finn approached slowly, medical scanner already in hand. The smaller child, Perry, whimpered as he gently examined the wounded deep gash that needed attention. "This needs cleaning and closing," he explained, pointing to his medical insignia, faded but still visible on his jacket. "I was a healer for my people. I can help." Talith's grip on his sister remained firm. "Then what? Throw away?" The question cut through Finn like a blade. How many refugee children had he treated only to watch them be shuttled off to overcrowded stations or worse? "No," he said firmly. "You stay until you're both well, and we figure it out together." He surprised himself with the offer, but couldn't bring himself to regret it. In the med bay, Finn worked methodically, cleaning Perry's wound while Talith watched his every move with suspicious eyes. The scanner revealed they were both malnourished and dehydrated. "When did you last eat?" Finn asked, applying a regenerative gel to Perry's arm. 2 rotations, Talith answered. "Had food packets." "Used them," Finn nodded, sealing the wound with a dermal adhesive. "We'll fix that next." In the galley, he prepared a simple broth, remembering from his medical training that Vesperi digestive systems needed gentle reintroduction to nutrients after starvation. The children ate cautiously at first, then with increasing hunger. "Where are your parents?" Finn asked, when their bowls were empty. Talith's luminescent skin dimmed slightly. "Mother sent us to hide," said "Find safe place." The child's eyes lowered. Father fought the raiders. Did not come. Finn felt a familiar ache in his chest. He'd seen too many children orphaned by violence. Rest now, he said, showing them to the small spare cabin. You're safe here. That night, as the ship drifted through the silence of space, Finn reviewed the ship's external camera footage from their last port. There, barely visible in the shadows of the loading dock. He caught glimpses of the children slipping aboard while he negotiated with suppliers. But something else caught his attention, a larger vessel with military-grade shielding departing shortly after. Raiders, most likely.
Pursuing the Vesperi colony ship the children had mentioned, Finn set course for the nearest Alliance outpost. He needed information, and the children needed more supplies than he had on board.
Yet as he programmed the coordinates, a sense of unease settled over him. The children had chosen his ship for a reason. Perhaps it was just the medical insignia that had drawn them, a universal symbol of safety, or perhaps it was something more, something that would change his solitary existence forever. The Alliance outpost of Heliostream hung suspended between twin moons, spinning rings catching the light of the nearby sun. Finn guided the Mender's Touch into a lower docking bay, away from the main traffic and prying eyes. Stay hidden. He instructed Talith and Perry as he secured the ship. I won't be long. In the 3 days since finding the children, their conditions had improved. Perry's wound was healing nicely, and regular meals had brought color back to their luminous skin. But questions lingered in Finn's mind. Who were the raiders? Why target a Vesperi colony ship? The outpost's market district bustled with the usual mix of traders, mercenaries, and travelers. Finn purchased additional medical supplies and food suitable for Vesperi physiology. His military pension credits dwindling faster than he'd like to admit. At a secure terminal, he accessed news feeds, scanning for reports of attacks on colony ships. Nothing official, but whispers in shadow channels mentioned a Vesperi vessel destroyed near the Cygnus system, with no survivors reported. Officially, it was classified as an asteroid collision. Finn knew better. When he returned to his ship, the docking bay was eerily quiet. The hairs on his neck stood up, warning sense developed during combat missions. Someone had been here, inside the Mender's Touch. He found Talith and Perry exactly where he'd left them, but they weren't alone. A tall, slender figure stood in the center of the cabin. Her skin the same luminous blue as the children's, but marked with intricate patterns that pulsed with light. The moment she saw Finn, she pushed the children behind her, her posture defensive. "Step away from my offspring," she commanded, her voice melodic despite the threat. The children peeked around her legs, their eyes wide. "Mother," Perry exclaimed. "This is Finn." He fixed my arm. The Vesperi woman's stance softened slightly, but her eyes black as space itself remained wary. "You sheltered them?" "Found them hiding in my cargo bay," Finn replied, setting down his supplies slowly. "They needed help. I gave it. I am Nalara," she said after a moment of consideration. "Guardian of the Vesperi Stardust Colony, or what? Remains of it." Over the next hour, Nalara shared their story. The colony ship had been attacked without warning by vessels bearing no identification. Most colonists had been killed or captured. She had hidden her children in an escape pod, promising to find them. "Why were you targeted?" Finn asked, pouring Nalara a cup of the herbal tea the children had come to enjoy. Nalara hesitated, then reached into a hidden pocket of her flowing garment. She produced a crystal, no larger than her palm, that seemed to contain swirling galaxies within its depths. "This," she said simply, "the heart of Vesperi, an artifact of our ancestors." The crystal pulsed with an inner light that matched the patterns on her skin. Finn felt drawn to it, as though it called to him specifically. "I can pay you for your kindness to my children," Nalara continued. "This crystal fragment contains knowledge-healing knowledge. Would serve a medic well." Before Finn could respond, the ship's proximity alarm blared. On the view screen, a vessel approached, the same military-grade ship he'd spotted in the footage. "They found us," Nalara whispered, clutching the crystal tighter. Finn's military instincts took over. "Secure yourselves. We're leaving." As he powered up the engines, Nalara pressed the crystal into his hand. "Take it. It's safer with you for now." The moment his skin made contact with the crystal, A sensation like electric fire shot through his veins. The cabin blurred, and suddenly he felt Nellara's fear. Tala's determination, Piri's trusty motions that weren't his own flooding his consciousness. "What?" he gasped, nearly dropping the crystal. "It's bonded to you," Nellara said, her voice tinged with awe. "This hasn't happened in generations." The pursuing ship fired a warning shot across their bow. Finn had no time to process what had happened. He pushed the Mender's touch to full thrust, the medical frigate groaning under the strain as they fled the outpost, the crystal warm against his skin, and strange new awareness buzzing in his mind. The Mender's touch limped into the asteroid field, trailing coolant from a hit to the starboard engine. Behind them, the raider vessel continued its relentless pursuit, its weapons far outmatching the medical frigate's defenses. "Can you sense them?" Nellara asked, bracing herself as Finn executed another evasive maneuver. In the weeks since the crystal had bonded with him, Finn had begun to understand its capabilities. The healing knowledge Nellara had mentioned was actually something far more overt, profound, a telepathic amplifier that allowed him to sense emotions and sometimes thoughts of those nearby. A gift from the ancient Vesperi evolved to heal minds as well as bodies. "3 minds on the bridge," Finn replied, his eyes closed in concentration, determined, angry. He winced. "Hungry for the crystal. They don't know exactly what it does, but they know it's valuable." "Daddle!" And Perry huddled in. The secure medbay cabin, their fear a constant pressure at the edge of Finn's new awareness. He tried to project calm toward them, another skill he was slowly developing. "We can't outrun them forever," Finn said, studying the navigation system, "and we can't fight them directly." Nellara's bioluminescent patterns dimmed with worry. "Crystal chose you for a reason, Finn Calloway. It sensed something in you, something beyond your healing skills." Finn didn't have time to ponder that statement. The enemy vessel launched a barrage that rocked the Mender's touch violently. System warnings flashed across the console. "We need to lose them," he muttered, eyes scanning the asteroid field ahead. An idea formed, dangerous but possible. "Hold on," he warned, then cut the main engines, using only maneuvering thrusters. He guided the ship into a narrow gap between 2 massive asteroids rotating slowly around each other. The pursuing ship hesitated, then followed, just as Finn had anticipated. "Now," he shouted, firing the engines at full power. The Mender's touch shot forward, barely clearing the gap before the asteroids closed behind them, catching the raider vessel in their crushing grip. "We've bought time, not victory," Finn said, setting course for a remote sector. "They'll send others." That night, while Nellara helped the children settle into sleep, Finn studied the crystal. Its glow pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat, the galaxies within, swirling in hypnotic patterns. Experimentally, he focused his thoughts on it, asking, without words, "What are you?" Images flooded his mind, a vast network of crystals spanning galaxies, connecting minds across impossible distances, sharing knowledge, healing trauma, building understanding between species, once locked in conflict. "Tool," Finn told Nellara when she joined him. "It's part of something bigger, something that could change everything." Nellara nodded solemnly. "The network of understanding. Our ancestors helped create it with other species millennia ago, before the Great Wars tore it apart. This fragment is one of the few remaining active nodes. And these raiders want to weaponize it," Finn concluded. The raiders' intentions clear from the glimpses he'd caught of their minds. "Yes," Nellara confirmed. "Led by Commander Dravis of the Hegemony.
Ow.
He believes controlling minds is more efficient than destroying bodies." Finn considered their options. "I know someone who might help us, an old war comrade who runs a trading post in the Verge. If anyone can hide us while we figure this out, it's Ren Thorn." Ren Thorn's outpost, affectionately known as the Pocket, was nestled inside a hollowed-out asteroid at the edge of charted space. From the outside, it appeared to be nothing more than another unremarkable rock. Inside was a thriving community of refugees, veterans, and others seeking to disappear from official records. "Calloway, you magnificent bastard," Ren greeted him, her cybernetic eye worry as it focused. The former Alliance intelligence officer had lost the original during The same battle where Finn had earned his shrapnel scars. I thought you were done with trouble. Trouble found me, Finn replied. Introducing Nellora and the children, Ren's mechanical eye scanned them, then zeroed in on the crystal now hanging from a chain around Finn's neck. And what exactly is that? Over the next few days, Finn and Nellora explained everything while the children explored the pocket under the watchful eye of Ren's security systems. Talith and Perry quickly became favorites among the residents, their natural curiosity and luminous appearances drawing smiles from even the most hardened refugees in Ren's private lab. They analyzed the crystal more thoroughly. It's reconfiguring your neural pathways, Ren explained, showing Finn the scan results, not damaging them, creating new connections. I can sense emotions more clearly every day, Finn admitted. Sometimes even glimpse memories or intentions. It's overwhelming. Ren leaned back in her chair. The network of understanding. I've heard whispers. Thought it was just a myth, or a way for different species to truly comprehend each other beyond language. Ain't a terrible weapon in the wrong hands. Nellora added. Dravis doesn't just want the crystal, he wants Finn now too. A human connected to the network would be valuable. Your species' adaptability makes you ideal conduits. Finn's new senses prickled with warning just as Ren's security system blared. On the monitors, a fleet of ships appeared, hegemony vessels, led by the repaired raider ship. They found us, Ren said grimly, and they brought friends. Patterns flashed with alarm. How? We were so careful. Ren's cybernetic eye narrowed. Betrayal. Someone in the pocket sold us out. Using his enhanced abilities, Finn reached out, sensing the mines approaching the asteroid. Among the cold determination of soldiers, one mind burned with obsessive hunger, Commander Dravis himself, fixated on possessing the crystal and the power it represented. They're coming for us all, Finn said, his voice steady despite the fear. Threading through him, they won't take prisoners this time. The pocket's defenses were impressive for an unofficial outpost, but they wouldn't hold forever against a hegemony assault team. Residents scrambled to evacuation vessels, while Ren coordinated the defense from her command center. You need to get the crystal away from here, Ren told Finn, loading a pulse rifle with practiced efficiency. If Dravis gets it, and you, there's no telling what damage he could do. I'm not leaving you all to face them alone, Finn argued, helping Nellora guide the children to an escape shuttle. Ren gripped his shoulder. This isn't your first battle, medic. Sometimes retreat is the best strategy. Before Finn could respond, the first explosions rocked the asteroid. Hegemony forces had breached the outer defenses. Talith looked up at Finn, her large eyes reflecting the emergency lights. You can stop this, she said with surprising certainty. The crystal showed me. In that moment, something clicked in Finn's mind, understanding flowing through the bond with the crystal. It had been preparing him, strengthening the connection gradually. What if its true purpose wasn't just sensing emotions, but bridging divides? Get everyone to the central chamber, he told Ren.
Defenders and any attackers you can capture. I have an idea.
As the battle raged through the pocket's corridors, Finn stood in the center of the main hall, the crystal held before him. Lara positioned herself beside him, her patterns glowing with intense light. I'll amplify the connection, she explained. It's what Guardians are trained to do. When both sides were gathered, Drens, people on one side, captured hegemony soldiers on the other, Commander Dravis himself strode in, weapon raised. The crystal. Now, he demanded, his scarred face twisted with greed. Instead of responding, Finn closed his eyes. With Nellora channeling her energy through him, he pushed his consciousness outward through the crystal, connecting to every mind in the room simultaneously. Understanding flowed in all directions. Defenders felt the fears, driving the attackers. Hegemony soldiers experienced the terror of the refugees they hunted. And everyone witnessed the truth behind Dravis's obsession, his homeworld destroyed by war. His desperate belief that controlling minds was the only path to lasting peace. In that moment of shared consciousness, Finn showed them all another. Weigh the crystal's true purpose. It's not domination, but connection. It's not weapons, but healing. The network of understanding had been created to prevent exactly the kind of conflicts that had torn the galaxy apart. When Finn finally lowered the crystal, the room was silent. Dravis stood frozen, tears streaming down his face as decades of hatred and pain were acknowledged and understood by all present. "This is what your ancestors built," Finn said to Nalara. "Not a weapon, a bridge." In the aftermath, an uneasy truce formed. The hegemony forces withdrew, Dravis himself requesting asylum in the pocket, his worldview shattered by the experience. The crystal's power had been demonstrated not as a means of control, but as a tool for reconciliation. Weeks later, aboard the repaired Mender's Touch, Finn stood at the viewport with Nalara and the children, watching as the stars streaked past. "Where will we go?" Teleth asked, her hand in Finn's.
Ow!
"To find the other crystal fragments," Nilara answered. "They're awakening across the galaxy, sensing that the time has come again." Finn touched the crystal at his neck, feeling its warm pulse synchronized with his heartbeat. "And we'll find others who can connect with them. Build the network again. One mind at a time." Perry looked up at him with trusting eyes. "Will there be more battles?" "Probably," Finn admitted. "Change never comes easily." But as the ship accelerated toward distant stars, he felt something he hadn't experienced since before the Warhope. The crystal had chosen him not for his past as a soldier, or even his skills as a healer, but for what he could become. A guardian of understanding in a fractured galaxy. And for the first time in years, Finn Calloway was no longer alone among the stars.